That's good. I thought you might be, because the truth is, dolphins are incredible animals, and I'm pretty excited to see them as well. But I want you to ask yourselves for a moment, what are you most amazed by when it comes to dolphins? For some of you, it might be their speed and their power, or maybe their intelligence and curiosity, or maybe it's just the incredible acrobatics they're capable of. Whatever it is, people all over the world have been fascinated by dolphins for literally thousands of years. And we're no exception here at the aquarium, because with the help of our 3 amazing marine mammal trainers, we have Katie, Paula, and Anna joining us today. We have the opportunity to work with 3 pretty special Pacific white-sided dolphins. And in fact, we have not only 3 of them, but different sexes too. This is our male, Spinnaker. And he is joined by 2 lovely ladies. We have Hannah and Helen here at the aquarium. This is Helen. And of course, she is our older female. She's in her early 20s, and she is joined by our younger female, Hannah. And I think after a display like that, we can all agree they're pretty awesome. Can we give them a big round of applause? Woohoo! Through the years, people have learned a lot about dolphins. But like many animals out there in our oceans, this particular species, the Pacific white-sided dolphin, is still shrouded in mystery. And it's with the help of Hannah, Helen, and Spinnaker that researchers right here at the aquarium are working to solve those mysteries, which is a really unique opportunity because this species is very rare to find in facilities. You can tell them apart from other types of dolphins by that beautiful torpedo-shaped body, not to mention the distinct black, gray, and white that runs down their sides. But they're also considered by many to be one of the most acrobatic species of dolphins in the world. And I think we can probably start to agree on that. As their name suggests, they are found in the Pacific Ocean, typically from northern Mexico all the way up to Alaska and across on the coast of Japan. And I'm sort of curious, has anyone here ever seen a dolphin that looks like this before? Can you raise your hands? Wow, actually there's a few of you. For those of you who haven't, never fear. We are seeing more and more of these dolphins right here along our coast in the Strait of Georgia. So if you're on a ferry this weekend, you never know, you might see some off the front of the ferry. Unfortunately, like a lot of the animals who live in our oceans, Pacific white-sided dolphins do face many dangers. And in fact, Hannah, Helen, and Spinnaker have first-hand experience with those threats. Paula, as someone who works so closely with them, can you share their stories of survival with us?
I sure can. All 3 of our dolphins are what are referred to as rescued and rehabilitated animals. They were all found entangled in fishing nets off the coast of Japan. They were then taken to rehabilitation centers where they were deemed non-releasable. But luckily for us, they all found permanent homes here at the Wild Coast. Working today, we have Hannah, Helen, and Spinnaker. They have all been here for several years, and we have been able to build and maintain a strong relationship with them through training and regular checkups. Everything that we learn through their healthcare helps veterinarians and researchers to gain a better understanding of this mysterious species. In fact, every day that we work with them reveals more not only about their species, but also their individual personalities, which, believe it or not, are just as different as you and me. Isn't that right, guys? But most of all, Spinnaker, Hannah, and Helen teach us that from nets to garbage, it is man-made objects affecting dolphins all over the world.
Thank you very much, Paula. So what our researchers are trying to do is understand the dangers of man-made objects and find new ways to protect these dolphins. But in order to do that, we have to review, what do we know about Pacific white-sided dolphins? And one of the things that we know is they're usually seen in groups, but the group size can change. Sometimes you see 2 or 3 of them, just like we have here. And if you're really lucky, you may see over 2,000 of them at once. And they can travel at some really impressive speeds. If you're down in the underwater viewing gallery, no doubt you've seen that already today as they get ready for their leaps. They zoom around the water, and Spinnaker can demonstrate that pretty well as he zooms around the perimeter of our habitat at over 35 kilometers an hour. Technically, faster than you're allowed to drive your cars here in Stanley Park. And that speed's really helpful for these dolphins. It allows them to sneak up and catch their prey really fast. Speaking of prey, can you shout out for me, what do dolphins eat? Fish, exactly. And I want you to imagine for a second what that would really be like. If you were a Pacific white-sided dolphin and you were zooming around here in the Strait of Georgia looking for something to eat, some fish. Now, there's a lot of fish available to us in our waters, but the deeper you go looking for a meal, the darker it gets. Thankfully, as a dolphin, you have the ability to penetrate that darkness using sound. It's an animal form of sonar called echolocation. So listen for just a moment. Pretty strange sounds. Has anyone heard anything like this before? Not too many of you. These are dolphin sounds. They're just not the typical ones that you hear. These are echolocation clicks. And basically what happens when dolphins make these sounds is they send those clicks out into the water, and as the clicks bounce off of objects and come back to the dolphins, they can form mental pictures of their underwater world. We know through research that echolocation is an incredibly accurate sense. So we have to ask ourselves, okay, well then why are dolphins getting entangled in fishing nets? And that's something we're trying to answer with the help of Helen, Hannah, and Spinnaker, and a research project they've been helping us with for over 2 years. We've taken that time to train our dolphins to wear gelatin eye cups, like I have here in my hand. And they work a lot like a suction cup, but we didn't start by covering their eyes right away. To maintain a really strong bond of trust with these dolphins, we started by just touching it to different parts of their body. And then gradually we progressed to where we're at now, and where you might have seen Paula demonstrating with Hannah. We can ask these dolphins to voluntarily wear these eye cups over both of their eyes, and then study the way they navigate through the wild coast using sound instead of their vision. Hopefully, through this research, we're going to better understand how dolphins like Helen, Spinnaker, and Hannah got entangled in fishing nets while they were looking for food. We are incredibly lucky to work so closely with these dolphins because they provide us with the opportunity to do research that simply isn't possible out in the ocean. Of course, this research also shows us that dolphins are very energetic, playful, and, of course, acrobatic animals as well. We can see that above and below the water a lot throughout this show. And we know they get all of this energy for these types of aerials from the fish that they eat. The fish that they would use echolocation to find out in the ocean. So there's no question in our minds that sound is a really important thing for dolphins, but it's not only used to find food. It can also be used for communication because they're pretty social. Most recently, we had a sighting of some Pacific white-sided dolphins in Ambleside, West Vancouver, about 10 minutes by boat from where we are right now. And they are known, when you see them around each other, to make a lot of noise. So if you listen really carefully, you might actually hear some of the different vocals from our dolphins. I think they deserve a round of applause for that. What do you think? But some scientists think dolphins can communicate in other ways, potentially using different forms of leaps. Because some of the leaps they're capable of, one particular called a breach, this one right here, makes a lot of noise when they land on the water. And that might be a signal when they crash to the dolphins around them, or they can use other body parts, like maybe their flukes, also known as their tails, to slap the water. We see this every once in a while. It might be some sort of dolphin Morse code, or it's a way to stun prey. We have no idea, but we're definitely trying to figure it out. Of course, you have to look at what else makes noise in the ocean, though, and can you shout out for me, what's a man-made object that's pretty noisy on the water? Boats, exactly. And dolphins, interestingly enough, are often seen alongside or in close proximity to boats. You may even have been lucky enough to see dolphins bow riding off the front of a boat you were on. And like I said, I was talking to some people yesterday who saw dolphins just like this off the front of their ferry when they were coming in from Nanaimo. So exactly what role noise pollution plays in the lives of dolphins and the lives of their prey is another mystery that we're working to solve.